Welcome to Healings and Meditations with Frank Jordan and the Earth Mind Think Tank Group. We take requests for healings in the second hour. You can call in on 702-879-4770 or on Skype wolfspirit.switchboard1. If you simply wish to make a healing request, please type into the chat room on wolfspiritradio.com with the name of the person, the location, and the condition of the person needs healing. You're listening to Wolf Spirit Radio. June 29th, 2014, Healings and Meditations with the Earth Mind Think Tank Group. Sans Frank, or he's a silent partner tonight. So, good evening, everybody. We've got lots of people here. Marilyn, Rachel, Carrie, Diane, Frank, Teresa, Mike, Susan, Catherine, and David, and me, and all these other people who are even in the chat room listening and all participating in the great morphological field that is the think tank. Hello. So, Susan, Frank, who's going to say?
Okay, yeah, this is Susan, and one of the things we were discussing about what to talk about tonight, and it was suggested that Diane, one of our gals here in the Earth Mind Think Tank, has on her picture where we all show up on Skype, she did a crystal stone grid, and she posted it, and we would like to find out how you do, what inspires you to do a crystal grid, and, you know, how she came about doing hers last night. So we thought we'd start out with that. So Diane, if you wouldn't mind.
Hello there. I didn't know I was up first, but I can just expound on the subject I love so much, is crystals and crystal consciousness and my crystal fever. I guess I've got the bug, but I have quite a few small pieces, so it's really great for making grids. A crystal grid is basically just either a sacred geometric pattern, or I sometimes do a chakra pattern. So in other words, the 7 chakras, each one will have a particular stone, or anything that you might fancy. And I was inspired last night to make a sort of a spiral shape based on the basis was a tray, and then I have a nice piece of like a photographic paper with a print of flower of life on there, and I put that in the center, and then I sort of stare at the space for a while, get into a meditative state, and ask what to do next. And inspiration takes over. It's a lot of fun. And I just I go through all the stones that I have set out on my table, and I ask what size, what type, what energy, what shape am I going to work with. And I think that the inspiration lately, there's been a couple videos out of this little child that he's adorable and he's quite wise for his years, and he knows exactly what he's doing, whereas I'm going by instinct. He actually creates energy fields with the placement of the stones. So he has a specific one that's in the center, and he has certain ones that are pointing towards the center, which amplify the energy. And he knows exactly which crystals have which qualities. So he's an inspiration to me, and I always laugh and tell people that he's my child. If I ever, it would have to have been him, because that would be what I would teach my child, how to interact with the stones. So anyway, my particular grid that I made last night started with around the perimeter of the flower of life was beach sand, and it's not actually sand, but this was the sand at Moonstone Beach. Is thousands of different types of stones that have been worn down into tiny, tiny, tiny little pebbles, and in and amongst those you do find the little moonstones still, which are kind of opaly kind of stones, really pretty. So that was my basis, was the water element. And then as I worked my way in, I was using the pattern of the flower of life to set the stones. And I can't show it to you because we're on the radio, but did somebody in the group have a question about the particular layout that is on that picture, or interact with me?
Sure. I see 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 green stones that appear quite large, and they seem to surround the exterior of the large silver platter like a clock. And seemingly at the 12 o'clock is there are 2 stones, 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock, and then the rest are all green. And when you are in this meditative state, is there any, like you said, there's, you just follow your instinct, like I see a spiral outside, just going outside in. And could you describe some of the other stones that are around there and how you came to that?
Some of the information that came through in the quiet moment was spiral in, spiral out, and I love spirals, so I thought, okay, spiral in, spiral out, and I just contemplated that as I was setting it up. I counted all the numbers of all the different types of stones that I used too. I don't know if that came out as anything of significance, but I just followed a pattern swirling out, and the green stones are actually fluorite. The blue and the green are Mexican fluorite. All my stones are raw, just natural. Either I find them myself or I buy them in the raw state when I work on the grids. But I had the centerpiece is an Arkansas quartz, a little cluster, and then from there it just came out with sacred geometry shapes. So I have tiny little tetrahedrons, octahedron, pyramid, and then it goes into the dodecahedron, and then as the spiral goes larger and larger, it turns into quartz points. There's Tibetan quartz, double terminated. Those are going to be sent to Walt next week, so those are going to be part of a thing he's making for me. And then from there, it turned into and I had some Lemurian, there's a couple of pink Lemurians, and then that turned into the fluorite. So the fluorite was the final arm of the spiral. And then in between that final arm, every other one was a tiny little Herkimer diamond, because it was amplifying. It was to amplify the outward spiral. What else did and then on the outside of the whole thing, on the gravel, on the sand from Moonstone Beach, I have a series of small to large raw rubies, and they're record keeper rubies. Each one has a triangle imprinted on it, and those are the memories. Those are they carry the information they came in with from past, and they also will record whatever activity is going on. So they're holding the shape. They're guarding the energy of that particular grid. So they go all the way around the outside. And in between them are phantom quartz, red phantom quartz from Madagascar. And that's it. I can't see the picture myself, so we're trying for memory if there was anything else in there. But it just seemed like when I felt the spiral in, spiral out concept, as I was setting it up and asking myself about what is the spiraling, what is the significance of the spiraling, in this particular grid, it said, the spiraling in is I am, and the spiraling out is we are. And I started taking pictures of it.
And Diane, you and Walt were talking the other day about that I am, we are with time capsules. Can you guys elaborate on that? Because that was so interesting.
Mr. Walt?
Yeah.
You're the one who introduced me to the material.
Well, yes, but you see, I am merely the messenger. I sent it to you so that you would be able to, as you beautifully and eloquently do, digest it and help us to integrate it by showing us exactly how it all fits to what we're doing at this time. I can talk about it, but I read it. I read it more for the feeling, like I do the quick scan. I haven't really delved into it particularly, but
Well,
it did inspire.
we need some technical data
I'm
here.
waiting for the lady to make a pause. It's impolite to interrupt.
Okay. There you are.
This is a group effort tonight, Walt, so.
Yeah.
Cool. To answer Rachel's question, the overall significance of the material is to show, and using different words and presenting it in a more modern way. The gentleman who's presenting the material is repeating what I knew from the teachings of the Indian masters when they talk about Maya, the grand cosmic illusion, how everything is an illusion, and other teachers who teach non-dualistic philosophies. I forget the name of the teacher when a student was asking, "What's Maya?" and the teacher said, "The mind. The mind is Maya." So what happens is that this gentleman is presenting the material not from a religious, philosophical background, but from a purely scientific background. He was involved in some very deep investigations that they even relied on alien technology, and they were able to confirm beyond shadow of a doubt what the ancient Indians have been saying forever, that we are all inside this hologram, beautifully represented by the film The Matrix. I know Catherine is fond of quoting that film, and very good reason. And the two elements of this illusion are always in front of your face, which is separation and hierarchy. This concept of beings and people, some people are up here and some people are down there, is actually part of the program. It's part of the program of the hologram. In the material, they call it the hologram of deception, because here we are believing that we are these tiny organic beings, when in reality we are infinite immortal beings that got duped into wearing these suits, and upon wearing them, a program was activated, and we forgot who we were and what we are. And this story, this knowledge, has been known for a long time. In ancient India, one of the metaphorical stories is like Krishna was walking in the country one time with a disciple, and he saw a female pig feeding the piglets. And he thought, oh, what an interesting experience. So Krishna dematerialized and encased himself in the body of the mother pig so that he could experience that. But he forgot. He forgot that he was Krishna. So the story goes that the disciple had no other choice but to, I know it sounds cruel, but he had no other choice but to kill the pig so that Krishna would come out and remember that he's Krishna. So you see this underlying theme over and over, hundreds of and thousands of years over and over again, kind of calling us to wake up to the fact there are no hierarchies. There are no beings higher or lower than you. We're all infinite, immortal beings, and we're all at the same level, because the life essence, that eternal life essence that animates this organic suit that we're wearing, is us. We are that infinite source of energy coming straight from first source or prime source, whatever you want to call it, the source of all things that exist. And we are the fuel. We are the thing that keeps this machine running, and in the meantime, we're asleep, thinking, oh, I am this machine. So I apologize if the spiral was a bit long to come to your question. Coming down to the I am, it is important to awaken to the fact of I am our sovereignty. You are not this physical body. You have a body. You are not the body. You have a mind. You are not the mind. So whatever the mind tells you that you are, you aren't. Because if you pay attention to any and all thought streams, regardless of the field of human activity, whether it be art, science, finance, education, growing vegetables, whatever it is. If you pay attention to how things are being expressed, how things are being put together, you will always see the underlying theme of separation and hierarchies, The same theme flames over, even in schools. You see the students, instead of moving automatically to cooperation and co-creation, the system teaches them, competition. Oh, this guy won the science fair because his stuff was better than your stuff. Always this competition, separation, hierarchical structures. And the I am, when you wake up to that consciousness, that awareness of I am, and as he describes it, the I am is what you wake up to when you get rid of all your thoughts, when you drop all the levels of consciousness, because even the levels of consciousness that we're used to using, the waking consciousness, the subconsciousness, the unconscious, the collective consciousness, all of these structures are actually part of the hologram. They have nothing to do with you. When you take all these things and let them fall from you, and all that's left is you, all that's left is silence. The most divine, the most beautiful silence there is. There's no distortion. There's no waves of duality, just pure you. And that's the I am. So in order to disable this hologram from the inside, we just have to stop cooperating with the program. And we stop cooperating with the program by adjusting our behavior and not supporting the agendas of the program. So that's why in the material they don't say the word love, because love is, first, it has too many connotations, too much baggage in the human psyche. And love is known as the primordial force that holds everything together. But what they do speak of is 6 virtues of the heart. Humility, forgiveness, compassion, valor, meaning courage. What was the other one? Understanding, for appreciation. These 6 virtues of the heart are actually qualities that are opposite to what this holographic program wants of us. So these are things is like, throwing a wrench in the work. And the way that you practice this is not even, they don't even call it a meditation, is you're using your breath to bring you into the now, because this is where you should be. When you're fully sitting in the now, there's no room for thoughts. That's why many people find it difficult, because the minds begin to rebel, because it needs to think of something. Either it has to remember something in the past or worry about something in the future. It doesn't like the now. There's no thought flow in the now. So they use the breath to bring your attention into the now. And then he describes that you choose one of the 6 virtues, heart virtues, to focus on, and you realize that virtue in yourself, in your heart. And once that's done, the next thing that they do, something similar to what Frank teaches, that they place that experience in the pineal gland, because he explains that when you do that, essentially you're emailing it to everyone who is connected to the unconscious. So little by little, you're seeding the elements that disable the hologram into everybody, because everybody is connected to the unconscious. So after the breath is broken, is structured in 4 stages, you inhale. The inhale and the exhales are of equal time. It doesn't matter if you're counting 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3. All it matters is that they're equal in time. And the instructions are that you breathe in, you hold your breath for the same amount of time that you used to breathe in, and you focus on I am. Then you breathe out through the mouth for the same amount of time, hold your lungs empty, same amount of time, but then you focus on we are. Because what you're doing is you are waking up to your I amness, that infinite divine being, that's asleep in this body. But in the second part of that breath, you're connecting to all the I ams of all of us. So,
right, I am. If I am is true, then we are has to be true.
Precisely. So you're creating. They give a graphic to that you can use as part of the exercise and visualization, where during the I am phase you visualize a line of force of energy coming up from the center of the earth, going through your body, through your chakra system, coming out the top and just being lost in the infinite.
Right.
And when you think or say I am, you see that essence being manifested in that vertical line. And then when you exhale and your lungs are resting empty, you visualize a line, horizontal line, crossing through your heart, coming out the sides, and just going around the planet and visualizing or feeling the essence of all of us in that line of force. So you're actually creating two lines. One is vertical and one is horizontal. Because when they say I am, that's the sovereign, and when you say we are, that's the integral. So the whole process is called the sovereign integral. It's what the wingmakers claim is the key to disabling the program, because the more you seed the 6 virtues into the collective unconscious, he says one day the walls will come down and hundreds and thousands of people will wake up to the fact that they're infinite beings wearing a human body, and they'll look at each other and say, what happened? What am I doing inside this body?
So, Walt, let me ask you one question. What sustains the hologram, the thing that's got us all off track, all locked into this hologram? What sustains that?
Our attention. The mind has inserts that are programmed to behave in a specific way, and they take up all our attention. We have been fitted into these bodies like a glove so well that we have no other choice but to believe, this is my body, this is me. And it's not. You are not Gary. You're not a man. You were not born who knows what year. You're an infinite, immortal being dreaming that you're Gary Warder. That's all.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks, Walt.
You have to admit that it's a beautiful program. How you explained it, Walt, was magnificent. You did a brilliant job of explaining. And there again, you have to admit that it's a beautiful program that we have all fed into. I mean, beautifully executed.
Yeah, all it is just an impeccable plan to keep infinite beings trapped indefinitely.
It's a good thing Bill
and
Gates
you see how well it's worked.
Whose plan is it?
Well, according to the material,
we are the ones who programmed it, aren't we, Walt?
Well, according to the material, which is based on everything that these supposedly super secret group that's so secret that doesn't even exist, what they uncovered because I knew of this from other sources, that unfortunately in the world, archaeology is one of the most corrupt of the sciences. I mean, there's tremendous volumes of information that have been hidden from the public forever. Right. And I know from other sources, the records have been found proving beyond shadow of a doubt, interaction between humans of this planet and living beings of other planets and stuff like that. So these people have whole libraries full of information of this nature, and it shows just like, paralleling what Frank has explained, this program was put in place by Anu, the entity that supposedly leads the Anunnaki. And at the time that they did it, they worked in conjunction with a group from Sirius, and between the Anunnaki and the Sirians, they designed this suit, and they convinced the entities living on Earth at the time to occupy it. And because what happens is that the story that they have compiled, and he claims that many parts of the story are corroborated by ET information, because they do claim that they are collaborating with ET civilizations, that when these people or entities came to Earth, Earth was not a solid 3D world as it is now. At the time, it was mostly a fluid world, like a water world. It was 90% etheric. And as it was traveling through space, it kept getting denser and denser and denser and denser. So, and they, just like Frank has told us in the past, yes, the Anunnaki came looking to mine gold. And in the beginning, they were able to extract it fairly easy because, you're dealing with a mostly etheric planet. As the planet continued densifying, okay, that's it. They got locked out, because if they stayed here for too long, their forms would become densified. So what they had to do is, okay, we have to come up with a life form, somebody to do the work for us. And that's why they came up with this idea. And according to the material, they convinced the entities, infinite entities living here at the time, to do this. And the journalist who's interviewing this gentleman asks, well, didn't these entities realize that they were being duped into occupying these bodies? And he says, well, in childlike wonder and innocence, they were infinite, they were immortal, they never thought that anybody could trap them. Little did they know what plan was put in place. So, according to the way, the material is presented, this entity, Anu, the leaders of the Anunnaki, it is the biblical God. I mean, it was his intention to put himself before the people as, this is it, I'm your God, I'm your savior, I'm coming back to the planet, I'm going to save you, because their agenda is to create, a one centralized world government, one single centralized world currency, all digital. And because the thing was, he explains in the material, this version of human that we are now is supposedly human 2.0. Human 1.0 was a failure because it was an incomplete organic entity. They were all clones. They couldn't even procreate. So they came up with human 2.0, fully capable of procreating, and with all these programs in place. But now the plan is to evolve into human 3.0, which is the human that will awaken to all their psychic powers and abilities. But here's the thing. This group and other groups' plan is to achieve this through transhumanism, enhancing the organic human structure with cybernetic implants. That's the plan, and the way the gentleman explains the material, it's a dead end in the sense that all you're doing is reinforcing the hologram of deception. You're reinforcing separation. You're reinforcing hierarchical structures. It's more of the same. Whereas the sovereign integral, the process that the wind makers, are bringing to people, on slipping it in little by little, it's the other way around. It's simplicity itself. It's waking up to the reality of what you really are. And when I read this material, it totally resonated with me with something that recently Enelia Benz stated in an article, where she says people don't like to hear this when she interviews or talks to people that are heavily invested in a spiritual path, and they believe, okay, we come to this life and we're following the spiritual path because we want to evolve into a higher sphere and we want to ascend. And she says, I hate to tell you this, but your life is a waste of time. because you're already ascended. You're already a beam of light. You're already infinite. There's no place that you need to get to. You're already enlightened. And it matches precisely, exactly what this gentleman is presenting in the material. I mean, we have been sold this bill of goods that there's this whole spiritual structure, and there are these bad guys below us, and there are the good guys above us. It's all part of the structure of the hologram. And look at it from any angle. A ball, no matter what angle you look at it, it always looks round. Same thing with this. No matter what angle you look at it, the themes are there. Separation and hierarchical structure.
And the ego comes into play big time.
Oh, yes, most definitely. It's part of the program.
That's what keeps us separate.
Correct. Separation is the name of the game.
So who is the author of this? Of the Wingmakers, or the Sovereign and Separation? Or
I asked Diane about that, but according to the website, the writer, his name is James Maho, and it actually is part of the material, that the material needs to be presented as it is, as a science fiction story or as a piece of mythology, because they explain if we try to present it as facts and truth, the censoring system that's built into the system will filter it out. Nobody will ever hear of this material. So the only way we can slip it in is by saying, okay, it's a story, like Star Wars, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. It's just a story. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go ballistic over it. It's just sci-fi. So with that being said, they're banking on people's mental laziness and stupidity to just gloss over it and drop it because, it's just a story. But for some of us, or a lot of us, I think, now, the way the Earth is now, there's such profound resonance. I mean, Diane sent me this material, and I just couldn't go to bed. I couldn't stop reading it. I had to. And the very first night that I did that we are thing, I just took 2 breaths, and my entire body was like somebody switched my frame. It's like they took me out of this box, and they and they put me in a totally different frame. It was a complete shift in perception and complete shift in energy. And I'm thinking, wow, this has got to be real, because it actually does work.
Isn't it glorious, Walt? Isn't that just glorious?
Yes, indeed, ma'am.
And I know that people get upset and don't understand how we can be bushwhacked and all of that. But if everybody was honest enough to see how we are overwhelmed with different commercials and ads and different things that we have been told, and we fall into that path of belief, that it's extremely easy to fall into that. But to stand up and be your own I am, and to know that we are, is incredible, and we'll just swipe. Right. Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. No, you're welcome. I hope I was able to do justice to the material and present it in a way that made sense to everyone.
Oh, Walt, that was awesome. Thank you so much. That's why I sent it to you.
I know, you're very gifted in that, Walt. Also, Walt, you mentioned something regarding sound as well.
Oh, correct. He explains that the part of the hologram, this hologram of deception, which is minute program that's part of the mind construct, what they call the consciousness structure, is that we see the things the way we see them. I mean, you see solid objects and you touch them and you move them, but in reality, the true reality behind that facade is sound structures. And those that have witnessed it, like for example, in the case of Paramhansa Yogananda, when he had the chance to witness it, he described it as infinite tissues of light that just kept flowing and melding, and wherever they intersect, something new will, manifest. And the program is translating it for us, making us see what we see. And they actually, not only are they aware of this technology, they actually exploit it, because when they, and I know the Tibetans have the ability to do this as well, only they do it with their consciousness. They don't do it with material technology. When they found the cave, the ancient arrow system of cave that was somewhere in Chaco Canyon in New Mexico, the journalist who's interviewing the doctor is saying, well, what happens if somebody goes over there and stumbles on this cave? He says they won't see it, because they're using, he says, stealth and shielding technology has existed for a very long time, and they actually have the ability, the technology has the ability to interface with your own mind. So if you were at the entrance to the cave, you would see a wall of stone in front of you. You could touch the stone, you could wrap your knuckles against it, feel the texture of the stone, and there's nothing there. It's in your mind.
I believe that. I thought it was interesting that there's 5 interviews that were done with Dr. Neruda, and they were done back in 1998, and 4 of them were released. I don't remember when it was released. I think I read them in 2005. But the 5th one was held back, and it was only released 2 months ago. So
yeah.
it was.
I can see how it would have been blocked earlier than this time.
Right. And Walt had sent an email to me saying, wait a minute, what about the Cabal? How could they leave out the Illuminati? I said, wait till you get to number 5.
That's the one that actually had the answers to my questions.
Yeah, that's why it's been out so long, because otherwise it would have been squashed or, disinfoed or, just thrown out. So.
Mm-hmm.
What are these recordings? I'm not understanding. What are the source? Where did you locate them?
It's not a recording. I dropped it into the chat there, the two links that I put there, wingmakers.com.
Oh, yeah.
And if you
Okay.
look under the content tab, it says Neruda interviews, and I put the link for that too. I'm having trouble with the Wolf Spirit chat, JP. Maybe you could pass that on to them.
Yeah, I can see you coming in and out. What's happening? What's it doing? Is it crashing?
I don't know. It's like there's no activity happening, so I'm not able to. I don't know. I'll just refresh mine, but if you would share those links, that would be great.
Okay.
I see it on my end. I see the 2 links.
Yeah, no, I was on Wolf Spirit Radio chat for the listening audience.
Oh, there's a different chat board there?
Yeah.
Wolf Spirit. Yeah. But anyway, I stumbled upon the information a long while back, and it's been brought back into my consciousness recently, so I started reading it again. But basically, Susan, there was a project called Ancient Arrow, which Walt was just describing, that they found these, almost, they said, in retrospect, it looked like an extraterrestrial cultural museum that they had set up, because it had all these artifacts and technological things, and also cave writings and descriptions of things. It's supposed to be the Wingmakers claim that they are from our future. They're an advanced form of our race, 750 years into the future. And so that began the investigation by the NSA, and they took over the project, and nothing was to be released about what they had found. But one of the scientists, one of the scholars that was studying the hieroglyphs, interpreting some of the information, defected and leaked this information and started the Wingmakers site. And little by little, they've added onto it over the years, and now they've released this. They're interviews. It's not an audio recording. You have to read them, but there's 5 interviews that were done, and the 5th one was just released. So very interesting stuff. It's been
and part of his thing defecting was that when he translated the material from the Windmakers, he found that it was their intention that everyone be made aware of these caves, because they know the answer is in everyone's consciousness. The structure of the caves themselves, the sounds, the writings, the graphics in the caves, they're actually genetic keys. When you're exposed to these elements, things in you begin to wake up. Parts of your DNA begin to wake up, helping you to remember who you are. That's why he describes the caves. It's 23 chambers, separated 10 meters from each entrance, but they're spread out in an ascending spiral. So the first chamber is at the bottom, the 23rd is at the top, and which corresponds to the 23 pairs of chromosomes that humans have. But they found a 24th chamber. So when the team, was interpreting all of this, the team leader made the intuitive leap that the chamber itself is. Did I lose everyone? Okay.
Keep going.
Oh, okay. I thought I'm.
We're here. We're listening with big death.
So they were extrapolating that the 24th chamber, given what they found in the chamber, and again graphics and all that stuff, that humanity was getting ready for a major, leap into another genetic structure. So that's why, and supposedly, besides this one cave structure in New Mexico, there are supposed to be 6 others spread around the world. And according to the material he translated, it's not for just one super secret group that doesn't exist. It's supposed to be for everyone. But we are where we are.
Okay, so, they're from a time period where time travel is a reality for them, obviously.
Well, that's
because I came aware of them about 2001, 2002. And the idea is that they went back into time, way back into time, and carved these caves out using advanced technology that we haven't got still, but probably maybe we could do this sort of stuff. And they had DVDs really, that were encoded at a bit rate that exceeds ours by an immense amount. I mean, it's like several factors of 20. It's like much more depth of color. And they had these paintings, which, to me, I live in Findhorn. I live around Findhorn. People in Findhorn make this kind of stuff. They do that sort of stuff. They're kind of slightly Aboriginal-looking
correct.
paintings.
Right.
Very brightly coloured.
Right.
Yeah, guys, talk about it. Talk about the art that was in each of these chambers.
Well, according to the material, that each chamber is described as being cylindrical in shape, a vertical cylinder, and the painting could only be seen if you stepped into the chamber, because you're stepping into the chamber and the painting is all around you. And besides this, they found one artifact in each chamber. In the material, there's no description as to what the artifacts look like. In one instance, he kind of gives the hint that one of the artifacts looked like a piece of crystal, but they found that it wasn't mineral or at all. It was actually an organic structure, and it must have had countless trillions of data encoded in it. But despite all their brain power that this group possesses, plus the assistance of ET technology, they were able to ascertain that these must be originating from a far future, because the devices, the artifacts, were impervious to all technological probing. They couldn't see what was inside. They couldn't destroy them. They were completely inert to energies and chemicals. And it was interesting that the one artifact that they were able to utilize was the artifact that took them to the cave in the first place. The material describes that there was a group of college students doing some field work, and they came upon this artifact just sitting on the ground. And as soon as they grabbed it, they started suffering hallucinations. They would see a cave entrance. So they called, I guess the professor called somebody, somebody higher up that could provide assistance, and because these guys are fully connected to the NSA network, immediately they were able to intercept and interpret certain code words. So they sent team members, and they grabbed the device, and officially it disappeared. And back in the laboratory, the device was completely inert, responding to nothing. No X-rays. They couldn't break into it. But somebody made note that the patterns on the device were not accidental or arbitrary. They were actually depicting a topographical map, which matched the area where it was found. So somebody reasoned, okay, let's go back to the area where it was found. At this time, this remote viewing female agent is handling the device, and as soon as they go back to Chaco Canyon, she starts interfacing with the device, and she gets these clear mental images how to proceed to get to the cave. And the cave, the artificial caves are actually part of a natural. They have been made inside an existing natural cave system. So from the outside, everything looks fine and dandy and normal, but you have to go in and investigate, and that's when they found this flat rock on the ground. And when they moved the rock, it was a J-shaped opening in the ground that they went into. So you had to go in on like a toboggan type deal. And that's when they found, at the bottom of that, they found the first chamber. So all the other artifacts, they have not been able to make heads or tails of it.
There was a hint in that one article that when they were examining it, someone had the insight to be able to say, let's look at it with an open heart rather than looking at it like hard science. And that was one of the keys that unlocked it. And I get a feeling that perhaps that's how it can be read, when it's led with a good heart rather than just, smashing it apart or trying to measure it and poking at.
Sounds like
what you're saying coincides with what happened when they found this site. According to what's stated there, I forget now if it's the same site or another ancient site where the entrance was protected by an energy field, and one of the investigators stepped over and touched it and immediately had a heart attack, and the person died from that. But then another person approached it without fear, like you said, being more focused in your heart space, and the person just walked right through. There was no adverse effect from the energy field. So I agree with what you said. I mean, it's aligned that way, that you should be more in your heart than in your head.
Mm-hmm. I think before I actually read that article, I was listening to a fellow I know. I'm not sure what his name is. It might be Dr. Hubble or something like that. And he's created, it's called MMS, the Miracle Mineral Solution. Mm. And he's in his 80s, I believe. And
humble.
Humble? Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And he was talking about the implants that we have, or historically, that were planted. He didn't say they were the Anunnaki, but if you are looking in the same direction, we can, surmise that that's where it came from. But we all inherit them. And he said that he was there at the beginning. He can recall that first time when that implant was created, and he and some buddies figured out what the implant was, and it is that we forget that we are reality, that and he, because they were studying it, he figured out what that implant was about, and he had no part of it. And so what he did do was he took the information from that implant and he went into they had the wherewithal, like life after life, because he didn't have the implant, he could remember, and they encoded the information in a clear crystal skull, and he was talking about how they hid information in mountains, and it was plural. So, and he had the ability to create spacecraft and so on, and travel and go across time barriers. So I wonder if there isn't some kind of a marriage there. And then you start talking about this, and I'm going, woo. This is fun. There are no coincidences. Yeah.
Well, didn't they even say during the times of the pyramids that they, had spells over them that they couldn't enter, and different things along that line and get information or see what was there?
Yeah, good point.
Yep.
A lot of this sounds like cache technology as well. Have you heard of cache?
Yeah.
MT Cache.
Do you have any information on that, JP?
I don't have that much information. He's Iranian, and he's giving his ideas. Well, I mean, a lot of them are not particularly, the QEG, right, is not actually his idea. But it works and it does the job, and you can make one, and what it does the opposite of what most electricity generators do, and it produces more energy than you put in coming out. And
correct. It's using the flywheel principle only in electronics.
Yes.
Is that what?
But it also uses the latitude and the earth energy to help it along. So if you got your flywheel and it's pointing east west or northeast southwest, it's not going to be helped by the energy of the earth as it flows. So you put it in the flow like a water wheel, and then it'll get helped along. And then you tune it. It needs to run at exactly the right speed that gets the right frequency that then is the correct harmonic of the earth energy at that particular point.
The underlying principle is it's almost the same as I'm surprised that they haven't actually invested more money on the Hendershot generator, because the Hendershot generator uses the same principle, but there's no moving parts, and that's the principle of resonance. Once it goes into resonance, I mean, you have this immense energy output, and it just runs forever because it's just bringing in energy from the 0 point.
Yeah, well, it's like feedback on a
rodent coil.
The Keshe Foundation can be found, you can find it on YouTube, or just Google Keshe Foundation, Keshe.
What's the technology that he's offering?
I think the QEG is a different thing, though, JP. The QEG is with Hope Moore, Hope Girl, and her father-in-law, and they also did a open plans in general release to the public for free.
Yeah, they're the ones Taiwan and Morocco.
Right, they've already achieved over unity on one of the devices they built, and they've achieved resonance on almost all of them. They're just tweaking them, but I think Keshe is a little bit different.
All right, yeah.
Keshe has,
what's Keshe about?
He's got a foundation, and he is giving it all away. He's been able to create vehicles that float. He's been able to create medicines without having like a pharmaceutical supply to supply it. For example, he said, think of the example if you're in a spaceship and you're traveling infinitely into outer space and there's no hope of return, but you still need medicine. He's able to understand those frequencies and put it into whatever medium that is needed and create medicines that way. So he,
right, yeah. Well, we could get that principle. That's pretty common now. So what else is he giving?
Well, he was working with
and free energy. I haven't seen any proof yet from Mr. Keshe. Any of you guys seen any proof?
If you check out his, check out the site. He has a lot of examples on it. I personally haven't, but I mean, I don't have the ability at the moment to travel across the planet, and he tends to be fairly secretive unless you are if you are able to contact him and he sees that your foundation or organization won't corrupt it, he'll give you a thumb drive with the information on it.
I thought he sent a thumb drive to every country in the world.
He did.
Already.
He did originally.
That was a few years ago.
That's right.
Nothing's happened since then that I know.
That has nothing to do with him. That has to do with the fact that the free energy is still being squelched. But the QEG is a quantum energy generator, and it is actually working. And that's also been open sourced. And if one can do it, then others can do it. So.
Oh yeah, I totally believe in that. I've seen lots of stuff on the internet, on YouTube.
No, but I actually know firsthand those people. I know them, and it's not a video that somebody made that somebody's going to put into disrepute. It's actual people that I know personally have this device, and others now are doing the same thing. So it's not something that can be invalidated. They're showing every step of the way. They got videos of every step, and they have
we are. I am. We are.
Got it.
I am. We are.
We are also trying to fill the hour.
No
with
problem.
interesting
We're doing a pretty good job so far. With a little help from our friend Walt.
Yeah, Mary, I saw that. 555.
Well, I mean, I found it fascinating, Walt, about what you've been talking about tonight. And let me just fill you in, because, I always like to... I don't like to front load you guys. I want to see if you're tapped... No, I'm not testing you to see, but I like it that you're not front loaded with what I've been talking about for the last few hours, and not what all the audience have been listening to. Because they hear a continuous stream, and yet we're collating this from people all over the states, all over the world. No, just all over the states today, all over Canada and Europe, and we're tapped in to the zeitgeist, the spirit of the moment, and the here and now.
That happens.
Go ahead.
With
Here and now, baby. Here and now.
That happens frequently with you in the show, JP. We're in sync.
Yeah. So tonight I was talking with Karen Ann MacDonald. We were talking about the Bear Clan mother and lots of those sort of things, and then oh wow, what have we been talking about? All sorts of things. So from medicine to enlightenment was the subject of the first show. So anyway, I'm gonna whack on a tune now. This one's by Steve Hillage. For all those who have ever heard, who have ever been a hippie. This is called Unidentified, because we were talking about being nameless. This is one of Karen's things. Is that the name is a very important thing to deconnect from, because we're given names by the authorities, and by using those names we're giving into those authorities. Anyway, so this one's called Unidentified Flying Being, and this is I Am, We Are. You'll hear it.
Okay, let her rip.
And welcome back. Hey, there's Steve Hillage. Great little funky little tune. I hope you're all dancing around, getting your chi energy moving, and right off the bat. So we're going to do more, maybe more. We should do it. This is a group healing, and we're all going to do a little bit of it. Hey, why don't we? Shall we do that, brothers and sisters?
Sure.
So.
Yep.
Sure. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's heal everything. That's a good idea, Walt. The first request I have is for Holly, who was in the chat room. Sorry, somebody's talking. Is that? All right. Okay. This is Holly from the chat room, and she's in Australia, I think. Let me just check. It was a long way ago. It was and anyway, so she has a heart issue. So if we can tune in, Holly's still there in the chat room. So there she is. So let's. Who wants to take this?
How old is Holly?
Good question. That's what I didn't ask, isn't it?
Well, is there a history in the family of this?
Well, having doused, do you want to ask the questions, and I'll douse the answers?
Okay.
Because that's how I can work here. Right. Okay. So yeah, you ask the questions, and I'll say yes or no. Susan?
Yes, I'm right here.
Ask the questions, and I'll give you the answers.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, because there might be a history in the family. I mean, heart problems cover a lot of things. Mm-hmm. So we'll visualize.
Well, should we tune into Holly?
Yes. So let's just tune into Holly.
And Susan, JP can douse for you if you have questions about the condition.
Yeah, that's right.
Holly's not.
That's right. Huh. So the first thing I'm feeling is restriction. I'm sorry?
I'm learning, but I haven't gotten there yet, yes, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can all kind of, if anybody has any words or sounds or anything that comes through them, please cut right in.
Remember, we are one. We are all. So we come together as one and then spread out as all. And that's how we will find Holly.
When you said her name, and I try to focus on a person named Holly, the first thing I saw was the person from the back, and immediately to the right of the heart, there was something there, like an energetic shape. I don't know what it is.
I just saw that Holly is 70 and no history in the family other than mother had a heart pacemaker and she is diabetic. I wish I could say I doused that, but I didn't.
You used a modern form of remote viewing.
That's correct.
And Holly is diabetic. So, so you're seeing. So let's see okay. If Holly. Before we go in, we have to check. Does Holly have attachments? Yeah. So can we clear the attachments?
That's what I was wondering. Yes.
Okay. So this is first of all what we do. So first we'll. The only way I can do it is like going through a car wash, Holly, so sorry about this. It's a spiritual car wash, yes. And it kind of sweeps down and brushes all of that stuff off you.
Yeah. Just release it.
Yeah.
You acknowledge it. Yes, you don't want it anymore. Send it on out. Send it to another dimension. You see it going out. Okay. Feels pretty good to me. How does it feel now?
Okay. Okay, so Holly's clear of attachments now. Good.
Okay, right, now
we can go in.
Now we'll go in and
right.
We'll visualize that heart. pumping freely, all the blood going in, out, all the valves, everything working in good condition.
So we'll ask by the power of the Christ within to restore Holly's heart to its pure and perfect condition.
Yes.
And so it is.
And we wrap it in healing energy. And we have that be sustained.
Okay, but going deeper into this, there is a way for life to be sweet.
Yes.
Holly, there is a way. And you don't
The connection
have to
of the
mask it.
diabetes and the heart, or both, have to do with the sweetness of life.
Yes. Come on. Let's do that. Okay.
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 Are we clear? Yes. You can play. Yeah.
We lost.
No, we haven't lost Walt.
Okay, yeah.
It dropped and then it came back.
No, it didn't drop. I just turned my mic.
Said, we're having problems and it came back. Sometimes it does that, so just bear with it. Just give it a minute and it comes back.
Yeah, it's the sound that you hear as being on the call is the sound of my background noise. And when I turn my mic down, it sounds like there's nothing there. But it's still there. You're still on the call. You'll know. But anyway.
You're in the I am, the silence?
Yes.
Also, part of the healing we've been doing, JP, for Holly, it might assist her, is putting her heart in an octahedron. And we're working with these new crystalline lights with Frank. And so I'm imagining putting those lights with the crystals in her heart and working on healing the heart. It really is very powerful. And I see her heart going in.
Should we go to green?
Sorry?
Yes.
Should we go to green for heart energy?
Yes. That's perfect. I'll put it on.
Okay.
Everybody go green. We'll send some more to Holly.
Engage green light.
All right.
Okay, so while everybody's going green here, I'll just cover the still air here. While
what does green light sound like, JP?
What's the sound of? I always think that green is a G.
It's an F.
Green is an F, is it? Hang on. What have I got here?
That's close to G.
Go ahead for us, JP.
Let's try this one here. An F, yeah?
He's grabbing his guitar.
I have to fade the thing up before anybody can hear it, of course. So that's this that one here. It's not be too loud. Let's hope it's not too loud. There we go. And the F is... Oh yeah, and there's this one.
Oh, that was good. We've got our octahedron.
The green lights entering your heart too, Holly. Full of appreciation.
There we go.
Okay.
Hey, you got your guitar tuned to 432 there, JP?
Sadly, I've got it to the standard tuning because I've been playing along with records.
Oh.
Yeah. But that's
Savage.
Okay, well, shall we move on to the next then, JP?
Let us move on. And this is for Arthur. Poor Arthur, his adrenals are failing and needs more blood supply to adrenals and brain and healing of heart. And healing for Marsha, his wife, was caretaking for Arthur. He fell on Marsha and she broke her pelvis. No surgery needed. Need healing for bone and pain, and she's very concerned about Arthur and he's very concerned about Marsha. Wow, Arthur and Marsha. They're almost like complementary parts of each other.
Yeah,
they are such an incredible team. They're just the most beautiful couple you could ever meet. And they are just in a very deep process, and they are asking for a lot of healing and prayers right now. Very concerned. She's more concerned about Arthur.
Well, Rachel, why don't you go ahead and you lead it? Because, you're the one that's more connected.
Okay.
And we'll just follow along. We'll keep our green lights on.
Okay. Mike, I'm just so deeply connected with them, so I have to try not to take some of this on. I'm visualizing Arthur, and I'm asking for all of us to put our etheric hands on Arthur's adrenals. And
we
seeing
need to clear
the
his attachments first, Rachel.
Oh, okay. Let's do.
Yeah.
Does he have attachments?
Yeah.
Let JP do that, Rachel.
Okay, so let's just give him a quick shower down before we go in there and wash our hands.
Okay.
So again, we tune in through Rachel and through the Earth Mind to Arthur and Marsha, and they have attachments. Yes, they both have attachments.
Okay.
Yes. So let's take one by one. So first of all, Marsha, we'll just.
Okay, we'll open up a vortex.
Yeah.
And direct those beings back to where they belong. That they're not serving here, and we're asking you to please go into the vortex, and you need to leave. Marsha, I see them clearing, and I'm closing the vortex.
Yes. Slowly.
Can you douse to see if that's been cleared?
Marsha's clear now. Yep.
Okay.
Now Arthur's.
Yeah. And so let's open up a vortex now for Arthur, for these dimensional beings to go back to where they belong. And seeing them clearing and leaving. Oh, there's a lot there.
Yeah. Oh,
some more. Oh my goodness.
They're all wrapped around his neck. I saw a lot wrapped around his neck.
Oh, I'm still feeling this.
They don't want to leave.
Wow. Okay.
Shall we start at his feet and work on up?
Sounds like an idea.
Yeah, they're still clearing, actually, is what I'm feeling. Okay.
Well, this is why we needed a team to work on this.
Okay.
That's okay. We can handle it all together. Morphological field.
I'm feeling it. I'm closing the vortex. And I need you to check to see if it's cleared.
Arthur's now clear.
Okay, I'm feeling like there's something else, though. I don't know what it is.
Hang on. I keep seeing something in the left front half of his brain. It's like he's got a hook in his head that's lifting it up.
I get antigens, and so what we do is give a left spin. I want everyone to visualize a flower of life, in front of you, like it's a plate in front of you, and now tip it up and so that it faces you, and visualize you have a string hanging from the top, and give it a counterclockwise spin as fast as you can right through Arthur, and counter spin, and hold it there, and there they go. Yeah. Goosebumps, yes. And through the torus, and suck it off, close the vortex, and through the torus, and the recycled energy into our golden grid around the planet.
That's the one, Teresa.
So it is.
So it is.
Damn, they've really kicked in there, these guys.
Yeah. They're like, my friend described them like hooks or starfish, or sometimes they're like big fat worms about a foot long. Yeah. And they don't like leaving, but they really don't like that left spin. And you can pull them out and send them.
He's had a lot around his heart, and I'm feeling a lot clearing around his heart with this too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very interesting. I got this kind of hook thing that was in his head. It's like he was being lifted up by a hook.
Mm-hmm.
So Arthur's now clear of entities. Arthur's now clear of attachments.
Any cross-dimensional beings?
Yeah, let's just make sure. Okay, so
we're doing a clearing. Let's clear out the whole thing. Yes.
Yeah. So
let's clean house.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any. But
any cross-dimensional beings?
What do you?
No, I've got nothing. What else have we got?
Okay.
We got possessions.
Okay,
Arthur's got any possessions? No. Any reptilians? No. Any grey attachments? No. Okay.
Nobody home.
Is he cool then?
Good.
Is he cool? Yeah, he's cool. Okay, he's cool. So now we can go in.
Okay, folks, you're doing wonderfully, but I might just give one suggestion here.
Thank you.
That hook you see in his head is the death angel, because Arthur is so close to his opportunity to check out, and we brought him back several times. And always in cases like this where they appear to be in terminal progression, it's if they truly want to stay and if they truly have a service or a reason for staying, talk to the death angel. The death angel's job is to help them release and relax, and the body system is let down so they can't transcend. And so a prayer might be sent up to his life angel to please sustain him with life force, as long as he desires and his indwelling soul desires to be sustained. Okay, over now.
Thank you, Frank.
Okay, so we pray to Arthur's life angel to bring down the life force energy, if this is what he chooses for his highest and best good, to be here on this earth. I'm feeling a lot of energy around his heart. Now I'd like to ask all of us to put our etheric hands on Arthur's heart and give it the life-sustaining energy if he so chooses this. And to bring his heart back into its perfect and normal condition. With the Christ within us, we bring Arthur into his perfect and normal condition. I also ask you to put your hands on the back of his adrenals and give it the life force and the blood supply that they need to sustain his body. And that this blood supply moves throughout his body and circulates in its perfect and normal condition. And we wrap Arthur in this loving life force energy to keep sustaining him. If this is what he chooses, whatever he chooses for his highest and best good, if he needs to transition, we honor this. Or if he needs to stay and honor life. I'm going back to his heart and just feeding him with such unconditional love. I'm asking the galactic flow to open and to bring Arthur surrounded in the green light and unconditional love. I like to bring through a sound for Arthur.
Awesome, Rachel. I am, we are.
If there's anyone else who sees anything else that Arthur might need.
I think our work with his wife would give him solace. Remind us of her name.
Her name is Marcia, and they're in the same hospital room together.
And she has a cracked pelvis, you said.
Fractured pelvis. They said she does not need surgery, but she's in a lot of pain.
Okay, do you know exactly where it's broken?
No, I do not.
Okay, so we'll take the group mind consciousness and focus in on Marcia. Marcia having been previously cleansed. Let's have a look, and as Marcia's pelvis damaged at the sacrum, no, one side, yes, the right side, no, the left side, yes. So, if so, with the looking at bones, what Frank does is he kind of creates a swirling flow to the left that expands the bone into like a powder. All the molecules just spin outwards like a galaxy, and then swirling them back in the opposite direction, swing them back in, and tuning back and becoming a whole piece again. Being restored and reconstituted back to its original blueprint. And so it is.
And we wrap that area, sustaining that, sustaining. And while we're there, we view the pain receptors in that area, and we see the pain lessening. We see the pain being relieved. Because she is immobilized, we see the rest of her body being able to tolerate having to stay immobilized. being free of any complications of being immobilized. We send Marcia love. We send her compassion. We send her our support, knowing that we are here for her and Arthur, that you can call on us through Rachel at any time. And we see that hospital room being bathed with green light and love and comfort, that they can rest tonight and in the nights to come, feeling peaceful and at ease, having good dreams and joy and hope for the coming days. And so it is.
May I add to release the trauma from Marcia? Release, release, release. And send in a calming light. A soft glow replacing that. And restore her to her calm self so that she no longer revisits that, and it will also not invite Arthur to revisit it. And so it is. From the Christ within us, we restore both Arthur and Marcia to their pure and perfect condition. And so it is.
Is Arthur a Libra by any chance?
He's January 7th, so I think is that a Capricorn?
Right, well that's that one out the window. Okay. Just checking. Okay, so where are we? Do we have any more requests?
I have a request for my sister-in-law, who has been institutionalized because of the loss of not physical capacity but mental capacity to protect herself, and she experiences chronic headaches all the time. And yesterday I visited her room at the manor, and it was like I was clunked on the head with a sharp object. It was like there were entities around her room, possibly around the building, and I sense that she has one that's taken up permanent residence in her head. So I would like for all of us to gather our energies to clear her. And if Frank, if you can hear, if that is the hook that you were talking about before, about the...
No, it's different.
Okay.
And protect yourselves before you release that creature that's in there.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So to protect...
Hang on a second. How do we protect ourselves?
I would... Okay. My suggestion is that every one of us stand within a vortex of light, a right spin, completely around us, charging us up with light, and visualize that you have like a geodesic dome that's impenetrable to any entities, antigens, cross-dimensional beings, grays. It is impervious to any non-beneficial beings. And it's like a giant filter that can only filter what we want. Unconditional love. So that is our protection. If anyone has anything to add, a favorite crystal or color.
Golden light.
Thank you. So I see golden light from within, from our heart, expanding out, expanding, expanding, expanding. And we close that off around us for any opportunity for them to come in.
I put my light on yellow also.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so we'll go and into, her name is Norma, and we are in the city of, or town of Renfrew, Ontario, north of Ottawa. So we'll go in and, let's see. And we demand that this entity leave Norma's head, and above Norma's head is a Taurus sucking out, and there are angels around her, her higher self, guarding her, protecting her, and guiding those entities out, out, out. Clear them out. And they're being sucked up and out through the Taurus, being transmuted into pure and perfect light, and being absorbed into the golden grid around the earth. Is she clear? I'm getting that she is clear.
Yeah, I'm getting that she's clear, but there are things that these things were attached to that she's not let go of. So it's going to require some work from her to deal with this. She needs to let go of the things that she keeps hold of somehow.
She doesn't have the mental capacity to. So we need to give her that.
Yeah, it might
energy.
Be very simple, like sweetness or something. I don't know.
Well, why can't we step back into the standing waves from when she was clear of these things and bring that forward and seal her off?
Idea.
Put a shield around her.
Okay. I'm getting at birth.
I'm feeling a lot around her solar plex.
Mm-hmm. So I will go back in time to her birth, and her birthday was yesterday. She's 75, and her dear sweet mama, who's still around and alive and full of vim and vigor, gave birth to her at the age of 15. So perhaps at that time the fear or anxiety that was attached, or the thought forms, perhaps at that time we release them, and we see Norma in her pure and perfect form prior to any possibility of entities entering her. And from her heart we will see a golden light beaming out and growing out, protecting her from any ability for any entities entering. And we'll anchor that around her and bring that forward into the now. so that those entities do not have an entrance in, and that all of the things that are magnetically attracted to that are demagnetized, released into the torus, transmuting that energy into the golden grid. And we project Norma in her pure and perfect form, free of entities, project it into the future and anchor it into the future so that it does not exist. They just do not exist. And we'll come back to the now and clear her room. And her room is a single bed in a small room with familiar objects around. But there seems to be there's a real heaviness around it. And we'll pull those entities up and out. We demand that they clear that space, and the torus will suck them up and out and away. The torus is more powerful than they are. They do not have the ability to hang on. We'll demagnetize everything in that room that would attract them. Shift the energies of everything in that room to a higher vibration that would not have the ability to house them. Clear, clear, clear. And close that and fill her room with light and expand the light from her heart out and beyond her, and it will fill her room and the entire manor where she stays. Push that light out and anchor it in. Sustain, sustain, sustain. And we'll anchor that from the now into her future for as long as she resides in that dwelling. And so it is. And from the Christ within, we see Norma, her residence, and the entire building that she resides in a pure and clear, comfortable home to her, filled with unconditional love. And so it is. Thank you for the time. I appreciate that.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, we helped more than Norma. We helped everybody in that place, too. So, yeah.
I hope so.
Yes, and nursing homes and care facilities are really dense, really have a lot of stuff there. So hopefully we affected anyone who has relative living in one of the facilities as well.
One of the things that I was picking up on at the beginning earlier was it's like one of those objects has so much what I would call imperil in it. And it's good that you picked up on it and cleared all the objects in the room. I think that was the thing that was holding the form for her. I don't know what it is. It might present itself. It'll be interesting to see something that was holding the form that was keeping her ill.
Good. Yeah, just demagnetize it. Poof.
That's it. So, with no other request, I would like to put forward one for our dear friend Dave, who is not doing so well. Would anybody like to tune into Dave Corso? Can we all tune into Dave Corso?
Pick him up, Gary. You could do it.
What?
Tune into that rascal, Dave.
Okay.
Talk to him, and we'll follow you in, and we'll back up the healing.
Putting the light back on green.
Okay, green. Yeah, JP, can you douse for whether we have permission and whether it's clear?
Okay. Right. Dave has been away for a bit, but he says he's feeling very confused, and so let's have a look, and we see if Dave is connected with attachments. Yes, they're attached, and we can clear that. And we have permission to clear that. Yeah. Do you want to
he said he had a fall. The other day he had a fall, and he was worried about his spine too. So I don't know if that's adding to the disorientation.
Yeah, he's in pain and very irascible. Let's put it that way on the understatement. If very irascible could be an understatement, but anyway, there we go. So, if we, so we'll have a look. Can we do the vortex thing? Who is good at the vortex thing?
I'll lead it.
Okay.
I would be happy. I'd be honored to lead a healing for Dave. We'll center into our hearts, expand out, and like big bubbles in the bathtub, we all overlap and become one big bubble. And there's Dave right in the middle of it. Dave, in whom we dearly love, who helps produce this show for us. We are so grateful to him. And I will ask my identical male counterpart, and I ask for all of you to ask in your identical male or female counterpart, sit knee to knee with them, etheric counterpart, and visualize Dave between you and your partner. So we create a male-female partner, a balance between us. And visualize in your right hand, Dave is at, his head is at your right hand, and his feet is at your left hand. And we hold Dave between us, and we ask for the healing of the galactics come into the back of our heads, increase the aperture opening, and we ask that they send in healing love that is appropriate to Dave at the appropriate rate, so that it can accelerate his healing. And we'll place him in a very large, beautiful, clear, green crystal that will heal every part of him, every cell of him, on all of the levels, mental, physical, emotional, spiritual level. It will encapsulate him. And those areas that are uncomfortable or in pain in any way, we clear the confusion. Let's place a vortex, a gentle vortex of light at his head, and gently pull that out into the torus, and pull that confusion out, those little lumps and bumps of confusion. And as we pull it out, on the opposite side is being filled with a soft, gentle light that restores balance in his thoughts. And so it is. Then we'll move down his spine and place a beautiful light the full length of his spine, a healing green light, and concentrate it all within, from the base of his brain to his tailbone. And allow that to radiate down his legs and his limbs, all of his limbs. And that healing light will ask that it sustain and hold within that crystal, that large crystal. And we'll wrap that to hold on his spine. And his heart, let's place that golden light within his heart and increase it with unconditional love, gratitude, and compassion that we feel for him, that we feel this calmness coming over him, and a restoration of his strength. And also place your hands over his heart to increase his immune system, to restore it and build it. And we visualize too that we're holding him as though we're cradling him like an infant with pure, powerful love, pure, powerful, unconditional love for him. We want only the best for him. We know he has traveled far and traveled through many storms, and we ask that those stored up memories are released, and the memories of the memories are released that hold any of those traumas or shocks. Release, release. And we say to him, everything will be okay. And now we place him back between our counterparts, male or female, for a perfect balance, polarity, and wrap him in that crystal in pure energy, glowing golden energy around him, and sustain, sustain, sustain. And from the power of the Christ within us, we see Dave in a pure, restored, and perfect form. And so it is.
Well done, Teresa.
Lovely one, dear.
We all could feel that. Thank you for the release and the love.
Thank you. Thank you. And I hope that he can hear us from his heart. It's very genuine and heart-filled. I think we've lost contact. We must be in outer space.
Okay, well,
we're in healing space.
Yes.
I think we're about all done. Unless anybody's got any last minutes. Okay, well, I think I'll... Sorry, go on.
Well, I would like to extend our... if we could gather all that healing energy and extend that times 100 to our beloved Frank and his family, and our hearts are with Frank. Always have been since we all met, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So,
in this time of compassionate love, is even more intensified.
Mm-hmm. And speedy healing from our darling Catherine.
You all are making it so easy, and I thank you and bless you all.
You're so good.
Okay, let's roll the credits.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, JP.
Thank you, everybody.
Love you all.
Good night.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody. It was fantastic show.
Thanks for help, JP.
Ha ha ha. Ha ha.